Have you ever looked at your bank balance at the end of the month and thought, where did all my money go? You check your expense tracker or bank app, and it's not like there's one big expense that explains it. It's just gone. A few swipes here, a few taps there, and suddenly your hard-earned money has vanished into things you barely remember buying. You're not alone. This is what I call death by 1,000 swipes. And no, it's not a budgeting problem. It's a behavioral trap, an emotional spending trap. And today, we're going to unpack it like a pro. Now, in the bonus series Freedom Over Flash, we explored how people fall into the trap of looking wealthy instead of being wealthy. But that was about social image, status, and identity. What we're focusing on today is more intimate. It's the emotions behind everyday decisions. Because whether you realize it or not, your spending habits are often emotionally driven, not value-driven. Let me explain. Most people think spending is logical. Are Berry? I bought this because I needed it. But scratch the surface and you'll find something deeper. For example, have you ever gone shopping after a bad day? You weren't shopping for clothes, you were shopping for dopamine. That's stress spending. And it's more common than you think. Or how about this one? I've been working so hard lately. I deserve a treat. Sounds harmless, right? But it's actually revenge spending. You're not buying the thing for utility. You're trying to soothe a pain point. And in the process, you're creating another pain point, an unplanned dent in your finances. And then there's FOMO spending. A friend posts about their weekend getaway, and suddenly your home feels small and your life feels boring. So you book a spontaneous trip or splurge on something flashy. Not because you needed it, but because you didn't want to feel left out. Now here's the dangerous part. These emotional triggers don't always look dramatic. Sometimes they hide in micro-spending habits. That Rs199 subscription you forgot to cancel. The Rs499 impulse order at midnight. The UPI payments that don't feel like spending because there's no cash involved. These are invisible drains, and they're deadly to your long-term goals. One of the most subtle emotional spending traps is overgifting. It comes from a place of love, but often it's rooted in guilt, insecurity, or social pressure. You don't want to look cheap or less successful, so you go overboard. Again, the motive isn't wrong, but if it's misaligned with your values and your freedom goal, it's not helping you, it's hurting you. Let's pause here. Remember back in week 3 when we identified your core values? Freedom, simplicity, security, peace of mind. Those were powerful declarations. Now ask yourself, do your spending habits reflect those values? Or are they being hijacked by momentary emotions? This is where we shift from emotion-driven spending to value-based spending. Let me give you an example. Suppose one of your values is freedom. You want to feel financially unburdened. But every weekend you swipe your card for lifestyle experiences. Eating out, shopping sprees, impulse purchases. Now these things aren't wrong. But if they're happening without intention, and if they're pushing you further away from your goal of financial freedom, then there's a misalignment. On the other hand, if you consciously set aside a fun fund every month, say Rs1000, to enjoy guilt-free, then you're honoring both your desire for enjoyment and your commitment to freedom. That's value-based spending. And it feels very different from the post-impulse regret spiral. Now, how do you start identifying these emotional spending triggers in your life? Here's a simple but powerful tool I recommend. A spend and feel journal. For the next 7 days, anytime you make a purchase, especially non-essential ones, write down, what did I buy? What was I feeling before I bought it? What triggered the purchase? Was it boredom, peer pressure, a social media post? How did I feel after the purchase? An hour later? A day later? Did this purchase align with any of my core values? You'll be amazed at what you discover. Patterns will emerge. You'll notice that certain moods or environments consistently lead to certain types of spending. And just this awareness, without any judgment, is enough to start breaking the cycle. Because here's the truth. Money management isn't just about discipline. It's about emotional awareness. You can't fix what you're not aware of. But once you see the pattern, you can begin to change it. And remember, you're not doing this to deprive yourself. You're doing this to reclaim control. To stop money from slipping through the cracks of unprocessed emotions. To make every rupee a conscious choice, not a reaction. Now let's quickly talk about one more concept. Emotional leak versus intentional spend. An emotional leak is like a dripping tap. You don't notice it until your water bill explodes. Intentional spending, on the other hand, is like watering a plant. It may look the same, a stream of water, but one grows your future and the other drains your resources. So here's your simple action step before the next video. For the next 7 days, track every discretionary or luxury expense. Use the spend and feel prompts to reflect on each one. Circle the ones where the emotion didn't serve your values. Once you do this, you'll start noticing that most emotional spending happens not because you truly want something, but because you tolerated something. Which brings us to the next topic. In the next video, we'll go deeper into a powerful idea. What you tolerate, you pay for. Whether it's that Rs 499 subscription you never cancelled, or the emotional need to treat yourself every time work gets tough. These are leaks, and leaks, over time, sink even the biggest ships. We'll talk about spending tolerance, boundaries around your expenses, and how building pre-decided systems can eliminate emotional fatigue and protect your energy and money. So stay with me, because your financial freedom isn't just about growing income or cutting costs. It's about building resilience where it matters most, in your everyday decisions. Talk to you in the next one.